Michelle, eerstens wil ek net vir jou sê, well done op Hyrox. Soos ek het navorsing gaan doen en ek sien hoe het jy geoefen als om Hyrox te doen. Soos, congratulations, well done. Dit is, verskoon my Frans, maar 'n moerse accomplishment.
Thank you, Riaan. Appreciate it. And happy to be here.
Now, doing Hyrox doesn't just happen overnight. Dit is iets wat jy moet beplan. Setting a goal like doing Hyrox is something that you have to start preparing for in advance. How long did it take you to prepare and get ready for Hyrox? And when did you decide, I want to do this? This is something I'm going to do.
Well, basically, I prepped for Hyrox 6 months prior to the competition. I started my own business 2 years ago, and I came up with every single excuse in the book not to train. You know, I always say, I'm too tired, or I'm too this, or I still have to do this. And I started believing my own excuses to myself. And then I decided, you know what, you need to get with the program, get going, come right. And Hyrox was 6 months out, and I said, that's it. I want to do Hyrox. I want to prove to myself that I'm still capable and able to do these difficult things. However, I've never done anything like Hyrox in my life before. I've done many competitions, but Hyrox was just on another level.
So for people who don't really know what Hyrox is, it's sort of a fitness challenge. In short, what's Hyrox? So that people can just follow with us.
So Hyrox is like an endurance competition. It's endurance and strength combined. There's a lot of running involved. When I saw that, when I saw it's 80% running, I'm like, oh, what did I sign up for? Because I wasn't a runner. And I kept on telling people, I'm not a runner. How am I going to run? But I think it's also what you say to yourself. You know, I said to myself, I'm not a runner. Every time I went running, I'm like, I hate this. And then eventually I changed my mindset and I said, come on, Michelle, you love running. So I had to trick my mind a bit. And I can say now that I absolutely do love running. It's really changed my life. But yeah, in a nutshell, Hyrox is a endurance strength competition. And it's brutal. If you don't train for it, it's going to be brutal. I remembered there was a stage where I thought it was very funny. And then I'm like, oh, really? We're only 1 kilometer in. And then I started getting angry. And then I started crying. And luckily, I had a very, very good partner that did it with me. And she was dragging me the last couple of sets. She was dragging me. She's like, come. We have to go, come. And I'm like, oh, you go. She's like, I can't go without you. And that's the thing. When you partner up, the one can't be without the other one. You have to stay together. And it's important to choose a really great partner when you do this. Because when one's down, the other one has to lift you up. And when the other one's down, it has to work vice versa.
So you mentioned 6 months ago, before Hyrox, that's when you decided to make this your goal. How important is it to know the time duration when to set a goal? Because let's say I set my goal in 2 months' time from now, I want to compete and take part in Hyrox. I'm basically setting myself up for failure because my fitness level isn't close to where it should be to do something like Hyrox. So if I set my goal 2 months from now to do Hyrox, that's basically self-sabotage. I'm setting myself up for failure. So how important is it, not just with fitness goals, but in general, to know what type of goals to set? Because I'm busy reading Jay Shetty's book, Think Like a Monk. And he says how wrong goals can set yourself up for failure. As example, the one that I relate to is, if I want to write a book and I set myself up, I want to finish my book by end of February from now, 3 months away. I'm basically sabotaging myself because it's not going to be possible to finish your book and have it published in such a short time.
Yeah, I think it's very important to understand the reasons why you are setting the goal. Are you setting it because you're angry? Are you setting it because your ego is getting in the way? Are you setting it up for likes and recognition? And many people set up goals for likes and recognition. I think it's something that comes from childhood. Maybe the father was absent or the mother was absent or they didn't get enough recognition, and that's why some people they flourish when they get likes and recognition for the stuff that they do, but they never follow through. So goals are really, really, I think, personal, and it's something very specific to you, and it's important not to set yourself up for failure. It's important for it to be specific, measurable, and something's got to go when you set up a goal. It's like something needs to be added and something needs to go. I remembered when I decided to do Hyrox, I started acting like a Hyrox athlete. And I always say to people, when you have a goal, you need to become like that person. Eat, breathe, sleep, study that person. So if you want to write a book, you need to ask yourself, how does an author act? What does an author do? How long does an author work on his or her book? The same with Hyrox. What does a professional Hyrox athlete do? And I had to go study these people, and I had to go see, what do they do? How much time do they put in? Considering some of them are professional athletes, I obviously am working and I've got a family, but how can I act like a professional athlete in order to be able to do Hyrox? So my goal wasn't to stand podium. My goal was to make it, to make Hyrox, not to have pain or walk out, halfway through. My goal was to make it. And it's so amazing. It's not about making it. It was about the journey, because the journey was so, so hard. I mean, many days I'll walk out and I'll be in tears and I'm like, what's the shit? What have you done? Why are you doing this? It's insane. And many people also say, Michelle, you're absolutely insane to be able to take something on like this. But again, it's very, very important to know the ups and downs of your goals. What will be the ups? What will be the downs? And to me, it was about the journey to get up to Hyrox. It wasn't about finishing it. Actually, when I finished it, I'm like, I was, okay. But the journey was more important for me than getting to the goal.
So you didn't just make Hyrox your goal. You did research and you looked into yourself as to why do you want to do it. Because as you also mentioned, you're doing it for yourself. So let's say somebody creates their goal and jots down their goal on a vision board or a notepad, but to impress someone else. Let's say you did Hyrox to show everyone out there, now you can still do Hyrox, you're capable of it. Would you have had the same success that you had?
Look, I think there's some goals that you can put out there to show people, to help people, to inspire them. I mean, I'm 47. I'm 46. I'm almost 47. I'm not saying I'm old, but I did decide to let people into my life with that specific goal so that they can see it is tough. It's not easy. And, I loved putting my training videos on because it kept me accountable, knowing that people are, okay, you said you're going to do it, so they're waiting. But there's many, many goals that you don't put out there. That's really specific and really personal, like something really, small is, I stopped drinking coffee, and I didn't announce it to the world, and I didn't say to the world that I'm stopping drinking coffee, because I just felt it was personal to me. It's something that I wanted to achieve for myself. The same with alcohol. I stopped drinking alcohol 3 years ago, and I didn't announce it to the world. I feel like that was very personal to me. So there's some goals that you can give to the world, and there's some goals that you just don't. You just keep it to yourself. I think it also has goals as energy. It's got energy surrounding it. And, sometimes when we tell people you're going to do something or you're going to do this, sometimes it's just giving away energy for other people, and you don't want to give that away. You want to keep that energy sacred for yourself.
What I also learned recently is that I'm busy implementing, because a while back I did my whole vision board, but I restructured it after I learned this lesson. I want to finish my book. I want to finish a book and publish it. Let's say that's my goal, to finish writing my book and to publish it and to bring it out and all of that. It's a very long goal that can take months, sometimes even years to accomplish. So the chances of me starting to procrastinate and get demotivated is big. But instead of making that my goal, I should rather make my goal, let's just finish my first chapter. Then it's more possible to finish my first chapter in a short period of time. That way, I finish my first chapter and I feel motivated. A dopamine that gets released that encourages me to, oh, wow, I accomplished my first goal. Now I really want to start right away with my second chapter. And before I know it, I'll have my book written. So it's like chewing a steak. How do you eat a steak? One bite at a time. You don't just swallow the whole steak. So what's your thoughts about rather just taking your big goal and chopping it down into smaller goals that you can achieve one after the other?
Definitely. So when I decided I was going to do Hyrox, I didn't see the full picture yet. I broke that big goal into small goals. So for instance, I first looked at running shoes. That's where I started because I didn't have running shoes. And then I had to source the best running shoes for me, for my body, and that takes time. And a big goal must have small boxes. So first you start with the running shoes and you're like, okay, I've got the running shoes. Tick. Okay, now can I run? No, I can't. So today I'm only going to run half a kilometer. Did you do a half a kilometer? Hell yes. Tick. Next week, let's go for a kilometer. Did you do a kilometer? Yes, I did. The week after, 2.5. So I absolutely believe that a goal should be set in small bite sizes, like you say. Eat that steak bite by bite and don't think, because you're going to feel so overwhelmed, you're going to end up not doing what you are supposed to do. So I always say, what is the next step you can take tomorrow that will be different than yesterday for yourself when it comes to that goal? And that's very achievable and measurable.
Instead of making a goal, I want to lose 30 kilograms, start by joining a gym. Make your goal, I want to join a gym and go to the gym every day for about 2 weeks or something like that.
No, well, no offense. Some people do achieve 30 kilos in a month now with all the resources that's available.
Yeah, but I still want to lose 30 kilograms without having such a bad impact on my life. But you touched something about the reason behind your goal. Because there is a difference if I want to lose weight to look good in a new outfit, to look good in photos, then maybe like, I need to lose weight because my life is in danger. Because if I go on a weight loss journey to look better in photos or wear a smaller size t-shirt, I'm not going to be as motivated as what I would be if I have to lose weight because the doctor said, if I do not lose weight now, I might lose my life. So how important is to actually know why are you doing what you're doing?
I think the why is the shadow. The why is the identity. The why is the reason why obviously you are doing this. The why is the emotional driver behind a goal, the question that reveals everything. So it's important to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Am I doing it for myself? Am I doing it for my health? It is the driver. And I felt like many times I feel like giving up, and then I go back and ask myself, Michelle, but why? And one thing that I really do, and it wasn't just for Hyrox, for all my goals, because I was a all talk and no walk person. I mean, for many years I got my goals wrong because I didn't know what my purpose was. So I'd say, I want to do this. And then if that doesn't work, then, I'm doing this. But I never asked myself critical questions. A goal is about asking yourself critical questions. If you can answer those questions, you are on the right path to your why. And I always say the why is the shadow work, because it's usually the things that we avoid that becomes our goals. So for me, it was, I'm not training. I haven't been training for 2 years properly. And that's the shadow. And it's like, okay, what are you going to do about that why in the shadow? Because that has to come to life. And it's important for people to have goals, because I know people that doesn't have goals, and, they always say to me, Michelle, what's the purpose of living? And a goal gives you a purpose of living. It pushes you forward. I think it's not nice not to have goals, because you do feel like there's no purpose. What are you supposed to do? But like I said, many people choose the wrong goals and they set themselves up for failure. And yes, even if they do, there's big learnings from that.
I do believe that a goal can also guide you into the right direction.
Yes.
So I might make my goal to write a book, but during the process of writing, I can discover I actually have quite a great talent for writing music, and I can end up writing songs for renowned musicians instead of finishing my book. So a goal might not actually always lead you into that direction, but it can lead you into the right direction.
Absolutely. And, I even think the wrong goals does teach you something about yourself that you haven't known. For example, many years ago, I dated this guy and he was a bodybuilder. And I didn't know about fitness or training or anything at the time, but he always used to put me on the scale and check my weight and say, no, you've got to go to gym.
Wait. Say that again. So you didn't lose weight or check your weight for yourself, for him.
Yeah. So he always used to put me on the scale and say, oh, no, you can lose a bit, you can pick a bit of muscle. So anyway, eventually this oak left. He left me. And I was so angry and so sad because I really wanted it to work, but it didn't work out. And I've set a goal out of anger saying, you know what? I'm going to show you who's the boss here. And I started training, and I remembered that he was going to be at a specific competition, so I had that competition in mind. And just Riaan, I looked absolutely amazing. Like, I transformed my body like you cannot believe it.
A blonde bombshell.
A blonde bombshell walking in there. And I was so proud, but I was proud because I wanted to show him, listen, yeah, this is what you left. This is, and if I think of my fitness life, I was very unhappy because the goal wasn't set for what I wanted to achieve. The goal was set to show him who's the boss. And yes, it was the wrong goal, but I did learn a lot through the process. So yes, sometimes we aim wrong. And I think the older we become, there's no more time to waste to aim. You need to try and aim right. When you're in your 40s and 50s, you kind of like have aimed wrong a lot of times. But you want to, you get to a time in your life in your 40s where you're like, I need to aim right. Because I don't have time to waste. That's where I'm at now. It's like, Michelle, when you aim, you need to aim right. But obviously you need to put the work in when you aim. You can't just aim and say, I think if you aim something and you don't have a plan, like a strategy, it's just a dream. But if you aim at something and you know how you're going to do it step by step, every day, even though there's ups and downs with this goal, you've got a plan, you've got a strategy, and you know that you will get there.
But so the older you get, the more important time and time management becomes in your life. Time becomes a huge factor. So with goals, do you think people should maybe, like I myself, set deadlines for a goal? Like, when do I want to achieve this goal? I know I need to be realistic, but when exactly do I want to achieve this goal?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important to put a date on. I mean, if we take Hyrox for an example, it was on the 29th of November. You can't phone the organizers and say, listen, I've got a pain in my leg, can we just extend it for 2 weeks from now? They will laugh at you. And you need to do that the same with yourself when you set goals. Realistic, measurable, achievable goals, let me add, and put a date there. And I believe that goals should be sensory. It should be specific. So, I sometimes ask people, what is your goal? And they're like, oh, Michelle, it's just to be happy. And I'm like, okay, well, what does happy look like to you? Be specific with what happy looks like to you and put a time in there because it keeps you accountable. Not the world, not for likes. You have said to yourself that I want to achieve this goal in a year or whatever it is. If you aim high, obviously it's going to take longer because you're going to have short little goals that's going to get you to your main goal. But I absolutely believe as a professional coach that people should put a time, a date to their goal and a time. That when they see that, they know that they've achieved it. And the one thing that I also do for myself that I wanted to say is when I've now decided to do a goal, I write myself a letter, not to fall into the valley of despair. Because, it's so easy for people just to give up. Say, yeah, let's try something else. No, I've tried, it's not working. Write yourself a goal that says, dear Riaan, you have to, or write it for yourself, I've decided to write a book. And there's going to be times that's going to be tough, Riaan. But let me tell you, we've got each other. We can do this. And just a good letter for yourself, because there's going to be many times where you're going to want to give up. And you hide that letter. It's actually fun. Mm-hmm. You go hide that letter somewhere. And when you have an off day and you're like, I don't feel like it today, you go get that letter that you wrote to yourself and you open that letter. Oh boy, let me tell you, it just changes everything inside of you. I think that goals are like a promise that you make to yourself. Every promise has a price to that promise. The price is discipline, consistency, boundaries, and most people want the promise, but they don't want the price. So what are you going to do to keep that promise to yourself? What have you got in place to hold on to that promise and to make sure that you reach that goal, that promise that you gave to yourself?
So you need, in a way, to hold yourself accountable for your goal. Because personally, I've had goals that's been on my vision board or my notepad or even just in my head for years. And I've set them, let's say 2 years ago, and I'm not even one step closer to achieving them. But are they not that important for me, or do I not hold myself accountable? Because there's certain things that I've wanted to achieve years ago, but I've made zero progress. So how do you hold yourself accountable? Like, okay, if I do not lose weight in 2 months, I will shave off my beard. How do you hold yourself accountable?
So I also think the reason why people don't reach their goals is it's not aligned with your purpose. It's not aligned with your values. It's not aligned with your beliefs. It's not aligned with who you are becoming. So you need to go find the reasons why. Like I said, maybe it's the ego. I mean, listen, I also had a very big ego in my life. And it's important to analyze, like, why am I not reaching my goal? It's important to ask yourself critical questions when it comes to, why did I not reach this goal? There is a reason why. Because if it was important to you and if it did align with who you are becoming, it would have.
So if your goal isn't your purpose, the chances of you achieving it won't happen, because you'll end up achieving it, but you'll still feel empty.
Well, it's basically got to align with who you are becoming. And I mean, you can ask yourself such beautiful critical questions. Now, I'm all for critical questions. As a coach, I don't like telling people what to do. But as a coach, I love asking people critical questions because I always say God has given us such a beautiful brain muscle that the world has become where you have to ask your friend, what do they think? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Oh, can you see I've put this on social media? I don't have any likes. Should I take it off? So our validation and approval has become external. And I love to take it back to the internal, especially when it comes to goals. So a question the readers can ask themselves, am I choosing this goal for myself or for approval? And if the goal doesn't work, ask yourself again, did I choose this goal for myself or for approval? Is this goal actually mine or someone else's dream? Because sometimes you see it, and you're like, yay, I also want to do that. I also want to be that. Is that really your dream? Or is that somebody else's dream that you're chasing? You can also ask yourself, who am I becoming? Such a hard question. Who am I becoming as a person? To align those goals. What habits no longer belong in my life, in the life that I'm building? Can you see how a critical question just it makes you quiet and you're like, gee, I didn't think of this. Goal setting is about being honest, because if you are going to lie to yourself, like I did when I went into bodybuilding, you're just not a happy person, eh? You're just not happy. Even though you've done great on stage and, you know, you got awards and you were set as the top 10 fitness model in the country, they're not yours. They were somebody else's. They were for somebody else.
But you see the big difference that you experienced firsthand. In your past, you were so fitness and health focused, but you were unhappy because you did it for somebody else. Now you health fitness on the same journey again, but you fulfilled. You feel you're experiencing success because you're doing it for yourself. It's self-motivated now.
Yes, and I think also when you choose the right goal, there's so much learnings that you learn into choosing the right goal. So for me, when I finished Hyrox, it wasn't just about finishing Hyrox. It's about, I said to myself, you know what, Michelle, you can do difficult things. You are capable of doing difficult things. And when you run your own business, you have difficult clients, eh? You've got clients that sometimes screams at you. You do cold calling. We all know it too well. You go out and see clients, and sometimes they just don't treat you well, hey? And it was a hard thing for me this year to learn. It's like, how can you be such a monster? You know?
Yeah.
I'm just asking you a question. How can you be such a monster? But I had to learn that I was capable of doing. It's not about the monster. It's about being capable of doing difficult things. And Hyrox did teach me just that. You know, I would rather, you know, when a client screams at you, I think to myself, dude, have you done a 1 kilo Hyrox, kilo after kilo strength? No. Whatever you're saying, it's not difficult. I can do, and I'm capable of doing difficult things. So I think a goal teaches you so much more than the goal. There's just so much more that, you know, and I also think when people achieve something, they don't reflect. That's another thing. I sat and I reflected. I'm like, what did this show me? What did this teach me? Will I do it again? Is it something I want to set up for myself again? Because it has to be absolute soul-fulfilling in order to do it again.
That's exactly what you said earlier. Setting the right goal won't lead you towards that goal always, but it will lead you in a direction. Completing Hyrox wasn't perhaps your end goal. It was realizing how tough you can be when it comes to business and dealing with difficult people.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, I'm a toughie now, hey? I'm a toughie. Like if it doesn't align, I can put boundaries down now. I can say no. And I can say no so easily. It's like, unfortunately, it doesn't work for me. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do it. And usually when I said no, I was like, oh, you should have said yes, Michelle. But now I'm like, yes, you said no. Well done, girl. You've put that boundaries down. It teaches you also your value in life, you know. It shows, it just, I don't know. My life in businesses has changed since I've done Hyrox. And I know it's only been 2-3 weeks, but it just comes easier to me to be able to do difficult things.
So I can make a goal as simple as saying no to the next time I realize somebody's going to take advantage of me, especially also being self-employed, having my own business. Clients and people tend to like to see how much advantage they can take off me. And being a people pleaser, I tend to always say yes, even though I'm getting the short end of the straw. So a goal can be as simple as learning to say no.
Absolutely. And being conscious about that and reminding yourself, a goal is about reminding yourself every day why you are doing what you are doing. You know, the same in business. There's many days where I'm like, oh, I could just get up and go work for a salary, because why do I put up with this stuff? But then again, I go back to the letter I wrote to myself 2 years ago. Listen, I've got many letters, little letters, love letters for myself. But it does help you to remind yourself. And I think another thing that's so important with goals is you have to be in the right community. You have to be around people with the right mindset. You have to be around people that's going to uplift you and not say, oh, you crazy, man.
You're wasting your time.
Rather you than me. Oh, you brave. You know? So I had to change my whole persona of, in the Hyrox time, who I am surrounding myself with. That was so important. And if I felt like that is not the right people, no offense to them, I didn't even involve myself there. I'm like, straight focus, Michelle. You have to be around the right community, the right people, the people that's going to uplift you, the people that will give you advice. You'll be surprised when you ask people to give you advice. That's the pros, how freely they give that love and that advice to you. But a goal also, you have to be around the right people. You have to surround yourself with the right people that's going to uplift you.
So ask yourself, how badly do you want to achieve this goal? Are you willing enough to cut relationships, to break habits, to cut people out of your life to achieve your goal?
Absolutely. And I don't think it's, you have to do it in an ugly way, but you have to also communicate with your people and say, guys, I'm doing this thing. I need your support. Or where I cut myself out is going out to parties, not going to bed. I used to go to bed very early. Like, I act like an athlete. I mean, I was very specific about what I put in my mouth. So I think also with your loved ones, it's important for them to know that you have a conversation with them and say, guys, I want to do this. Will you support me? Because if something goes up, something must go down. You must be able to lose things. I don't know what it is. Spending time with your family, maybe. Spending less time with your husband or your wife, or not to be able to take the kids to school. So you must be able to give up something in order to reach that goal. Working longer hours. You must know and prepare yourself for that before you set that goal.
In order to achieve something, you have to sacrifice something of equal or greater value. And your partner has to respect it. I have to say, listen here, instead of watching Sunday night 8 o'clock movie, I'm going to take that time and write my book. And you should respect that.
Yes.
Even though you are not the writer, you do not share the same goal and vision as I do, but you can still support me.
Yes. You have to be able to communicate with your loved ones, for them at least to know what it is you are busy with. And I promise you, if you do have a loving conversation with them, they will support you. I mean, I had such amazing support at Hyrox. Like, it's almost like I didn't feel I deserved it. I feel emotional, but I had this massive crowd behind me shouting, "Go, go, go, Michelle!" And I'm like, wow, it's just unreal. And every goal should be like that. If you do it in loving with your family and you have the conversations with them, you will have an army next to you to achieve that goal.
But that's where it gets easier if you surround yourself by the right people. Because you cutting out, let's say, alcohol to achieve your fitness goal. I don't have to cut out alcohol. I can still enjoy my drink now and then. But to respect your goal, I'm not going to be like, Michelle, I know you, come have one more drink. Come,
Exactly.
Come take just a one shot.
Yeah.
Please just take one shot with me.
And you do get that. I mean, I still get it when I'm out with people and they're like, come on, just one. Come on, you can do it. Just take one. And I'm like, guys, like, this is who I am now. And they're like, oh, no, you're such a boring Michelle. And I'm like, well, this is who I am now. I've changed. I've evolved. Whether I'm fun or boring, I just don't do alcohol anymore. And, you know, you'll always get the temptation.
Yes.
But you need to know why you've set it. Again, if you know exactly your why, there's this saying by Nishka, and I actually put it on my Instagram the other day. It says, "He who has a why can bear almost anything."
If you know why you're doing something, it will be easier, or you'll have more.
It means if you know your why, you can get through the trials and tribulations of the goal. You can get through the difficulty. You can get through where people say, "Ah, you crazy," or "Ah, come party with us," or "Ah, have one more, have a dop."
Yes.
You know, you can get through it because you know your why. So you are able to do almost anything to reach that goal.
So you need to be in order to understand and know what your why is, you need to be very specific about setting your goal. As one of my friends, we were speaking about, because she asked what will be my next topic for the podcast, and I mentioned it's going to be goal setting, and she's instantly just interrupted me and said she has one goal for next year: to be happy. And I asked her, okay, so if your goal is to be happy, that means you are not happy right now. So why aren't you happy? And she couldn't answer me. Okay. So go back to your goal. Your goal is to be happy. So how are you going to be happy? So that's a good goal, to be happy. We all want to be happy, but it's not specific at all. So she actually came back to me because she did some inner search, and she realized she's not happy because it's a work environment. So she's starting to discover her why, and that will actually lead her towards achieving a goal of being happy.
Yeah, and I think, it's like I said, for us that grows a little bit older, don't set yourself too many goals in a year. Life is busy. You've got a family, unless you're a bachelor, go for it. But life is busy and you want to set yourself up for success. So have 2 or 3 main goals. I always work on 3 with my clients for the year. Yes, they might change, but they shouldn't be changing. You should know, I'm doing this next year, and come hell or high water, I'm going to make sure that I achieve this. I know my ups. I know what downs might come. So you can already set yourself up for, okay, this is what possibly can happen. And look, sometimes it happens where, we fall ill or we just can't complete that goal. It happens. I mean, there's many people that pulled out of Hyrox because of, falling ill and whatever. But that also does teach you a lesson. It teaches you something. And I do SMART goals with my clients that is so amazing because it covers every single aspect of your why and your how and your aim. So obviously you need to know what you're aiming for. Does that align with your purpose? Is that who you are becoming? Because if it's not, you're not going to finish it. Is it for yourself or is it for somebody else? Is it for the ego? Is it for likes? What is it for? So you have to discover that. You have to sit down and ask yourself these critical questions before you start with this goal. I mean, I'm also like, I love doing different things, and I'm like, maybe I must start playing guitar again. And I'm like, okay, well, for what? Is that going to align with your purpose? You just want to do it for fun, you know?
Yes.
Just, you know, the brain always wants to do new things. If things the minute things gets difficult, the brain wants to say, oh, no, I'll just do that. I'll just try that again. And it's just like a vicious circle. So SMART goals is very, very important. And I feel like it has to be sensory based.
SMART goal.
Yes.
The term you use is SMART goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the S is for specific and simple. And sensory based. So you need to ask yourself, when I have this goal, what do I see? When I have this goal, what do I hear? When I have this goal, what do I smell? What can I taste? What can I touch? Like, it's important to have a sensory specific goal, to be sensory about it. I wrote with Hyrox. When I finished Hyrox, I could hear laughter of happiness. I could smell, obviously, the people around me that's been, you know, running all day.
You visually seeing your goal.
I see it, I taste it, I smell it, I hear it, I can feel it. What do I feel? I feel the floor. You know, I feel sitting on the floor when running over the finishing line. I could feel the floor and sitting on the floor, the finished floor. So it was very, very sensory based, and the brain adapts to that because you are visualizing your end result.
Am I correct in saying you basically taught yourself how to manifest your goals from happening?
Yes, but you've got to know what your goal looks like. You've got to know what the date is. So I will write, it's the 29th of November. I've just completed the finish line at Hyrox. I'm smelling all the athletes. I know it's not great, but that's what I smell. I went and sat down on the floor and I touched the floor and I could taste that I have achieved it. The taste of achievement, whatever that tastes like to anyone. So your goals must be very, very sensory specific. That's what the S stands for. And then measurable and meaningful. How are you going to measure this goal? It's like you said, you can't decide you're going to write a book and in 3 months you're going to publish it. That's not measurable. So you need to ask yourself, is this measurable for me? Can I do it? You know, I think for a top athlete to do Hyrox takes them 2 or 3 weeks to get in the groove. But for someone that's not an athlete, that hasn't done it, oh boy, you're going to have to give yourself some time to reach it. So it's got to be measurable, and it's got to be meaningful. If it doesn't have any meaning to you, then why are you doing it? Where's the meaning behind what you're doing? And also look at ecology. Is it safe to do it? Is it safe for the world? Am I going to hurt somebody? Like all that type of questions you need to ask yourself. What's the ecology of this? And then, is it achievable in all aspects of your life, like we've discussed? I've got a family. I've got a business to run. Am I able to achieve this in all aspects of my life? Very, very important question. And then, is this goal responsible? Am I responsible? Can I be responsible for, I need to be responsible for this goal. And then the T is the time we spoke about. Put a date on there. towards what date do you feel you can measure this goal?
That's something I've always been big on, setting goals, doing my vision board, because that's where I list all my goals that I want to achieve. But I've never been time specific. And I think that's the reason why there's basically so much goals that's still pending on my vision board, because I say there I want to finish writing my book, but there's no deadline. So subconsciously my head says I will always have time to finish my book until 10 years goes past and I'm like, okay, where's my book? That's so important that you mentioned setting time, but that's also back to what we keep on saying. You have to be realistic. You have to be realistic.
Yeah, I think it's important to aim high, but like you said, eat that steak bite by bite. Don't just look at where you've aimed, but also know that you've got a plan in place to aim to get up there. So it's small little goals that will get you to the big goal. I don't think it's one shot up. It's small little achievable goals.
It's the small goals you set that help you build momentum towards achieving the ultimate big goal.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about the small wins that will give you the big win. And that's exactly how Hyrox was for me. I didn't think of, because you must be able to run 8 kilometers on the day. Some people said, no, Michelle, you must be able to do 15 to 20 in order to do Hyrox. And I didn't think of that. I just thought of the kilometer I had to run for the week. The next week, I'm only focusing on 1.5 kilometer. The following week, I'm only focusing on 2 kilometers, and I'll celebrate that while I'm at it. I didn't think of the 10 or the 8. I was just thinking, I was in the moment, in the right year, in the right now, with that specific goal.
But starting, you knew you would have to run 8 kilometers.
Yes, I knew.
But you didn't focus on preparing for 8 kilometers. You focused on preparing for 1 kilometer, then 2 kilometers, then 3 kilometers.
That's the bite size that we're talking about.
That's you eating your steak one bite at a time.
One bite at a time, baby.
But you conquered. Let's say conquered, because you did. You conquered Hyrox. But so what's next? Are you done with goals, or are you already planning your next one?
No, I don't want to say it out loud because I'm not sure if it's going to allow me, but I haven't set that I'm going to do like a next one or something similar. I haven't set it out, but I am definitely back at gym doing my thing, and I think it's health as well for me. It's very important to be able to exercise. My body just needs that. And, the goal there is to thank my 80 or 90-year-old self, if God graces me to live that long, that when I turn that age, I'm going to say, yeah, Michelle, well done, because you really worked hard in order to carry this 80 or 90-year-old body. And I also know of a lot of people that isn't privileged enough to be able to exercise. They're really, really sick. And I always say to myself, you know what, girl, you've got this, God has graced you with a healthy body. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to make of it? And surely we all fall off the wagon.
Use it or lose it.
Yeah, use it or lose it. And yeah, we do fall off the wagon, but it's important to get back on it. It's that balance. Goals is about having balance. It's a beautiful mess. It's a beautiful up and down in between. I do have a few goals for next year, but I feel it's something that I don't want to give energy to right now. So people are going to have to see what I'm up to. There is a lot of things coming for me that I'm very excited about, but yeah, I just want to hold on to that a little while before I tell the public.
Keep it private until you know it's real,
yes,
something like that.
Yes.
But while we still have time, I want to just get some more knowledge for myself.
Okay.
And for everyone who's listening, please take as much away as you can.
Sure.
So we're coming to a new year, né? It's basically now where we are in time. It's almost new year, new me, that type. So how do you set your New Year goals? Like everyone knows the gym's going to be full the first week of January and then it starts fading away. When you're setting New Year goals and of that, where do you start? Like, do you self-search? For people who don't have vision boards, they don't have goals or anything, but they want to, because everyone wants to set new goals in the beginning of the year, but no one follows through with them or that. So where do you start towards making a list of your goals?
So I think you reflect on your year. It's very, very important to reflect on your year. And many people don't do that. They just move over to next year, and then I hear things like, Michelle, it doesn't even feel like we've had a December. It feels like we are just rushing in. It's because we haven't reflected. Like, you need to reflect and ask yourself, what worked this year for me? What worked for me? What made me truly happy? What are the things and the habits that I can change about myself? What do I feel is my purpose and why? And what have I done for other people this year? What have I done for myself this year? And you'll be surprised that many people can't answer that question because, again, they haven't reflected of the previous year. It's just like a rat race. There's no reflection. We just move on to the next month. It's really, really important to reflect of your year. I don't know if you've seen, but on Instagram, I've done the happy jar where once a week you write down what makes you happy. You put that in a bottle, and every December you take it out and you really read what made you happy that week. But what a great reflection I think it is for somebody to look for their purpose. It's like, what has made me happy this year? Take an audit of what's made you happy and do more of that. Maybe it's time to change jobs. You know it. It's making you unhappy. You know that. But you're not setting the goal right. Set the goal right in what it is that you want to set for the next year. So reflection is really, really important. And then the next one is SMART goals. Being smart, very specific about it, measure it, put a time on it. Make sure you've got the right people, the community that's going to surround you with that goal. Like I said, it's not just the aim. There's just so much more meat that goes inside a goal that people are missing. They're missing it. And that's why they set themselves up for failure. So I've got something, a workbook called Your Goals Matter, and it will be available in a few weeks. It's a specific, it's only set up for 3 goals.
Yes.
Because I believe in, don't give me 12 goals, give me 3 that you want to focus on. So it's designed for 3 goals, and it helps you step by step. It will ask you the critical questions. It will ask you to write down. It will help you with purposeful work, with some self-reflection. So it really, really it's a map that will help you to select the right goals and to follow through.
So basically, with your workbook, if I have 3 goals in mind and I list them, follow them with the guidance of your workbook, I will know, okay, well, this goal isn't actually my purpose. I'm going to waste my time. It's going to lead me to a dead end. So for people who's really hungry towards achieving their certain goals, your workbook will be ideal.
It will be ideal because as a coach, tested and trialed many times. Like I said, I've done the talk and no walk for many years, and this is something that's really helped me to do the talk and the walk.
I love it. But some of my own knowledge is that I actually discovered myself is it's important to set a time for when you want to achieve your goal. But it's also just important to set a time when you want to start. Because this whole podcast has been a dream. You're not just a guest, you're actually one of my dear friends. So you know how long I've been wanting to do a podcast. The first time we met, I mentioned it. And I'm only starting now because I kept waiting for the right time. And then a simple quote I heard on TikTok was, the best time to start on something is yesterday. The second best time to start is now. Because I waited so long for everything to be perfect, for the time to be right. But the time will never be right to start.
Never. It's like, I remember when I had a baby, I was like crying. I'm like, I'm not ready. Time isn't right. And the time, it's never the right time. It's never the right time. It was never the right time for me. So I think if it's important enough for you and it's something that keeps on biting you, like it sits in your gut, and no matter what you do, it keeps on coming. Because I remembered you always saying to me, oh, Michelle, I want to start a podcast. And then I speak to you 3 weeks later and it's like, oh, yeah, I really want to start. And I really want to start. So it will come back and bite you all the time until you actually start doing it. But again, it's important to know what's the ups, what's the downs. Like I said, SMART goals, being very specific about it in order to achieve greatness in it.
If you write on your vision board, you want to learn to play the guitar. The best place to start is when you put down the pen and you pick up the guitar. Well, I'm super excited to see what your goals are for next year. Maybe you'll share in private with me, because I'm excited to see where the road everything takes you.
Thank you.
But awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure, and I love milking your knowledge. You're like an orange jar. I just want to squeeze and learn, because, yeah. Thank you.